Hi there, it's Tiffany of Clarity, Confidence, Courage, Women's Empowerment. Welcome or welcome back. Today, we're going to be discussing how to silence the inner critic. I'm talking about that little voice inside your head that tells you you're not good enough, or you're not smart enough, or you're not thin enough, or you're an imposter. It's that voice inside that questions, judges, and tells you that you need to be perfect, which is not true. Now, before we get deeper into this juicy content, be sure to share, like, and subscribe to the channel so that other smart women just like you can find this channel and level up their lives. One thing that I have learned in my life is that the voice that lives inside of my head is the most important voice, because it's the voice that is with us wherever we go. It's the voice that's constantly telling us what decisions we should make, what jobs we should have, what relationships we should be in. It's the voice that's with us when we go to bed at night. It's the voice that's with us when we take a shower. It's the voice that's with us when we're getting dressed, when we're driving, when we're working. It's the voice that's with us at all times. And so if that voice is constantly putting you down and saying you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you're too thin, you're too big, whatever, you're going to believe it because it's your voice. And if it's your voice, it's the loudest voice because it's in your head. And a lot of times this voice was created when you were a kid. If you were constantly criticized by family members, guess what? That voice was being told that it wasn't good enough, and it was growing inside of that little child, and it never went away. It's still inside of you. But if you grew up in a household that told you, no, you are good enough. Yeah, there's some things you can work on, but you're smart enough. You're beautiful enough. You're great enough, whatever. If that positivity was poured into you as a child, then you're going to have that type of inner voice when you become an adult. What I think is really sad is that a lot of women who struggle with the inner critic also struggle with imposter syndrome. They struggle with not believing in themselves, and they struggle with confidence. And ironically, it's a lot of times the women that are the high achieving, high performing, motivated, ambitious, the women that are always working the hardest, a lot of times struggle the most with that inner voice. And so it's important that you balance that inner voice out. It doesn't mean that you're perfect all the time, but you're also not imperfect all the time. In order to make sure that you can live a joyful, fulfilling life, you have to make sure that that inner critic does not have power over you and is not keeping you from moving forward, building confidence, and taking courageous action steps. So in this video today, we're going to talk about how to silence that inner critic. Not necessarily totally shut it down, but silence it enough so that your true voice can come out. Silencing that inner critic is key to building a strong self-trust and to stepping deep into your true power. So here's how you can take control of that voice and replace self-doubt with confidence. The first step in silencing your inner critic is recognizing when it speaks. Oftentimes, this voice sounds like harsh self-judgment, which undermines your abilities, your appearance, and even your decisions. This voice can sound like, you're not good enough, or what if you fail, or, look at what everybody else is doing. Pay attention when these thoughts arise. The more you can pinpoint these moments, the easier it will be to challenge and quiet that negative chatter. Here's a quick action tip. Keep a journal of when your inner critic shows up. Note what triggered it, what it says, and how you feel in response to what it's saying. Being able to reflect on why the inner critic is saying what it's saying and what is happening during that time will help you be able to pick apart that inner critical voice so that you can start silencing it. Number 2, separate yourself from the inner critic. Your inner critic is not you. It's often a reflection of external expectations or, family pressures or society pressures, whether it was in the past or whether it's happening now. It is what has shaped this critical mindset. You have the power to reframe and distance yourself from it. So instead of internalizing the criticism, recognizing that it's an outdated belief or a fear that no longer serves you. Maybe that criticism kept you safe when you were a kid, but it's not keeping you safe now. So here's an action tip. Give your inner critic a name or a persona. By doing this, you distance yourself from the negativity, making it easier to manage. So whenever it speaks, responds with, hey Jane, that's not true. Or hey Bob, I'm choosing to believe in my abilities. Maybe you give it a funny name like Squiggle. Hey Squiggle, that's not true, and I don't have to listen to you. The bottom line is tell your inner critic what to believe and how to behave. Number 3, challenge your inner critic with evidence. Often the inner critic relies on unfounded fears or these worst case scenarios. One effective way to silence it is to counter these negative thoughts with actual evidence. When your inner critic tells you you're never going to succeed or that's not going to be possible for you, respond with examples of times where you have succeeded. You have done the things that you said you were going to do. And rewrite the script so that you can focus from doubt to empowerment. So be willing to show your inner critic the evidence like, hold on, Squiggle, I did do that. I can succeed because I've done it in the past and I'm going to do it right now. Here's an action tip. Write down a list of your achievements, big and small, and keep this list handy and refer to it whenever self-doubt start to creep in. You can even put it on a little sticky note and keep it at your desk on your computer. And whenever the self-doubt comes in, you can read those achievements and say, hold on, self-doubt, hold on, calm down. I have achieved this, I have achieved this, I have achieved this, I've done this. So no, self-doubt, you're wrong. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and I'm capable. So be quiet and sit down, self-doubt. Be willing to literally quiet the inner critic with evidence. Number 4, set healthy boundaries with yourself. Self-trust grows when you set boundaries that are respectful for yourself. Sometimes you need to tell yourself no. And be very selective on what you take on. When you overcommit, it feeds that inner critic because it puts you in situations where you're more likely to feel like a failure or to feel like you're overwhelmed or like you can't get it done. And the truth is, it's not because you can't get it done, it's because you've overwhelmed yourself. You put too much on your plate. Trusting yourself means prioritizing what's best for you and your needs and not feeling guilty about it. The most important thing you can do for yourself is set boundaries for yourself and tell yourself, you know what? Today, I'm not going to do this. Not because I can't, but because I know I can't do it well. And I don't want to overwhelm myself. So here's an action tip. Practice saying no more often, even to things that you could do. No is a full sentence. Remember, setting boundaries is a form of self-respect and self-love, and it helps you maintain your energy, your focus, and a sense of empowerment. When you don't set boundaries with yourself and the people around you and your environment, it is on you. As an adult, you have to take responsibility. And if other people don't like it, it's okay. They have the right to their feelings. And you have the right to take control of your life. Number 5, take small, courageous steps. Building self-trust requires action. The more you step out of your comfort zone and prove to yourself, again, building up that evidence, that you can handle challenges without overwhelming yourself, the quieter your inner critic becomes. Taking small, courageous steps towards your goals strengthens your confidence, and it creates a positive mindset and a positive feedback loop that truly reinforces self-trust. Here's an action tip. Choose one small action today that scares you just a little bit, whether it's speaking up in a meeting or trying to do something new. Maybe it's working on a new project. And be willing to celebrate the step as evidence of your resilience. Again, it doesn't have to be major, but it could be one small thing that challenges you and puts you in a feeling of accomplishment. Lastly, surround yourself with positive influences. Your environment plays such a major role in either feeding or silencing the inner critic. Surround yourself with the people who lift you up, with people who support you, with people who want to see you win, with people that clap and cheer for you when life is going well for you, people that help you grow. Avoid those negative influences that fuel self-doubt or make you question your abilities constantly. Now, I'm not talking about constructive feedback, but I'm talking about those people that are constantly telling you that of what you can't do, of what you won't do, of how you won't succeed. You have to pull yourself out of those environments because those are the people that are feeding the negative beliefs, and it will never stop. Here's an action tip. Curate your social media, friendships, and work environment to reflect the positive, encouraging energy you want in your life. Make sure you're connected with people who actually believe in you and are really aligned with your goals. You know, why have a person in your life you have nothing in common, you don't have the same interests, and every time they're around, they drain you? So start curating your life, just like you would curate your Pinterest board, or you curate your social media. Be willing to curate your life and make true boss decisions about who's going to be in your life and who's not, and the type of environment that you're going to have that's going to help you live a joyful, peaceful life. Silencing your inner critic and building self-trust isn't something that happens overnight. It requires intentional practice and patience. But as you learn to recognize and challenge your inner critic and these negative beliefs that you've probably had most of your life, you take small, courageous steps towards building up the evidence of self-trust and belief and confidence in yourself. And your confidence is just going to grow stronger and stronger and stronger. And it is the foundation to you living a fulfilled and empowered life. Keep showing up for yourself, and your inner critic will get quieter and quieter. And your true voice, the voice of who you really are, will shine louder than ever before. You've got this. So keep going. All right, everyone, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.